It's MistaJam on Capital Dance, and right now I am joined by one of our favourite artists, the artist behind this week's Jam Hot Record of the Week, an artist that we have supported for as long as we've been allowed to. He's also got a decent studio crew, so I'm expecting a nice bit of noise now. Studio crew, make some noise for John Summit!
Ah, that was a hell of an intro. Thank you, man.
Brother! It's so good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you too. How have you been?
I've been really good. Last time I saw you was May last year.
Yes, and it's been crazy since then.
I mean, you've lived a few lives since May.
Not complaining, but it's been wild.
It has been crazy. Listen, you're going to be with us for the next hour, so we'll get into that. But let's start off with the reason why you're here. This week's Jam Hot Record of the Week. I am sorry. I'm sorry, but focus. Oh! You say it's a low-key banger for you?
Yeah, because it was written more as an indie dance record and not as just a typical electronic dance record. And I didn't want to make it a huge hands in the air festival anthem. Yeah. But so it's kind of fun to find a middle ground with it. But I guess it's a low-key banger, but it's been quite a banger during my sets.
It's not a low-key banger. There's nothing low-key about that synth. I'm sorry. Yeah. You have married tech house, progressive house, trance, and indie dance in one record.
Yeah, that was the goal, man. It's cool to hear it set out like that. I mean, as a DJ in general, I love playing all genres and kind of breaking boundaries and breaking the rules. So to be able to combine those influences on one record, I think is pretty special.
I'll tell you what as well, that clip of you dropping it at Art Basel has been all over the timeline. Have you been surprised by the reaction to this record?
Yeah, because I was very nervous when I played it out, because before that I was pretty strictly tech house and kind of playing the vibe that gets played out in Miami and a little bit more underground. And then I bring in this vocal record. I'm like, they're either going to love it or they're going to hate it. And thank God they loved it.
I love the fact that you're taking that risk, though.
Oh, yeah, you have to. Otherwise, it's not fun. I get bored. You know, if art's all about, not playing it safe and, I don't know, taking creative risks, right?
And it works.
Yep.
Listen, when you've got a song as strong as this, it's going to work.
Hell yeah, thanks.
We expect nothing less. Now, we've got to talk about Cloves, another incredible collaborator for you. How did you discover Cloves?
So she reached out to me with the song idea, and she's based in Australia, and I love working with my Australians. And I was instantly hooked right away because she didn't really have, like, dance music too much in mind. But I'm like, okay, let me see where I can work this. And then we kind of went back and forth on it and found a middle ground of sorts. So I think working with people outside of your normal lane is a way you can, do 1 + 1 = 3 kind of mentality.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Listen, the vocal on this, the top line it's so haunting, but it's that production underneath it that drives it through. Now, I mentioned earlier on, it's been a good 9 months since we've seen each other in person, and you've definitely been keeping yourself busy since then.
Oh, yeah. I think I've done a whole album, a few arenas and whatnot, so it's been wild.
Let's start with the album. I'm sorry, Comfort in Chaos. We're in a time right now within dance music where not every artist is doing an album.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't monetarily make sense. I mean, the whole singles method makes, and it's like there's no reason to do albums, but all of my favorite artists throughout history really have done them, and that's what I stay inspired by. And I feel like, now that I have kind of a following myself, it would be dumb to not really put my artistic expression out in the world. And it's fun to take risks. I mean, I don't know. It feels like putting out a full movie versus like a short film kind of thing.
Yeah, I think we're back in that space where we got Fatboy Slim, where we got The Prodigy, where we got the Chemical Brothers, where it was a body of work.
Yes, huge
that dance music artists were putting out there that meant that people really understood who that artist was, rather than it just being single after single after single.
And yeah, it's like very disposable just doing singles, and I love doing singles, and I still do them, of course. But I think it's fun and to be able to do both. And I do think viewers and listeners are more patient than we give them credit for. So you expect, it's like social media, they only have 10-second attention span, but that's just when you're very bored. I think people have a mix of both.
Talk to me about the production of Comfort and Chaos, because a lot of it was done over here, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I love working with singers and songwriters from the UK. I don't know what it is, and I don't know what's in the water over here, but you guys breed talent, and I love it. And just we do. And just speaking of those acts from the 90s you mentioned, I mean, I'm from Chicago, where house music was originated. Yeah. But then it just really evolved on this side of the pond, I believe. And I'm a huge music nerd and lover at heart, and I feel like you guys are too. So when it comes to that production side, I can really relate with people over here.
That's why it lends itself to a long player. It lends itself to a body of work. And as a body of work, I love the fact that you did lots of different things on the record rather than it being a collection of singles or, hey, you know me from this, so here's 12 versions of that same song.
Yeah, it's definitely not like a now this is John Summit record.
I mean, there's time for that later on in the career.
Exactly, yeah. When my bank account runs dry, I'll do that.
Well, listen, I've got to ask you, have you noticed the difference in the response that you're getting from people since putting the album out?
I think like the fans and stuff really resonate with it, and then when I do shows, I can tell people aren't just there for just one big record. Versus, people like will get really upset when I don't play one of the lesser heard records on the album. It's kind of sick to have fans on that kind of side of the spectrum where, it takes a little pressure off me. I can get a little more creative, and as someone that's not really trying to get too much bigger anymore, because I've done the big arenas, done the big stadiums, I think doing something that's, things that are more community-based and people who are truly about the music is where I'm trying to head.
I love that. But, I mean, you've mentioned it, but we have to delve in. Madison Square Garden, Mexico City, 15,000 people in Phoenix. Your home city of Chicago. These are ridiculous crowds that you've been playing to. How does that fit? Because I remember the very first time that we spoke.
Yeah.
And it was the start of the journey during lockdown.
Yes.
How does it feel?
It's funny. That first time we spoke, it was like on Zoom, and I was so nervous, and I'm like shaking. It's hilarious. I still get a little nervous for interviews and stuff in person, but I specifically remember that then. But yeah, it's been wild. I mean, I'm always, speaking of nervousness, before those sets, like before Madison Square Garden, I was so nervous that I'm like, screw it. I had to open up for myself for the show just to shake off the nerves and stuff. So I ended up doing a 5-hour set that night. But yeah, it's been wild, and the response to everything has been amazing. And now I have so much confidence now with these big shows.
Yeah.
And now doing it in London with O2 Brixton, and then Amsterdam at Paradiso. And I think bringing those shows to this side of the pond is the next chapter a little bit. And yeah, getting more creative with it.
I remember going to Brixton Academy to see so many legendary artists. I remember even warming up for Wu-Tang Clan at Brixton Academy.
Oh, damn. All right.
So we're talking,
Yeah.
You're headlining a proper British music institution.
I love that, man. Now I'm nervous.
You shouldn't be. I mean, come on. The Forum in LA, what was it, 45,000 ravers across 3 nights?
So yeah, we did that over 3 nights. I had a whole orchestra and everything. So that was epic. So that was a cool like seal of the whole Comfort and Chaos tour. Everything came together, and all the vocalists came out and everything too. So that was exciting.
That must have felt pretty special.
Oh yeah.
But you weren't alone last year because let's talk about your Everything Always show with Dom Dolla.
Yes, that's so much fun.
At the Gorge in Washington. What's it like sharing the stage with Dom?
He's a very like-minded guy like me. We have a very similar process when it comes to not just producing, but DJing and everything too. And it's so easy. I mean, like we almost don't have to prep anything. And because the name's Everything Always, it's more fun if you go there and just, screw around and have some fun. And I think the fans can feed off that energy.
Who's the person that pulls the thing out that goes, ha, follow that?
Oh, that's me.
Remember this dubstep rager from 2010? Ha, follow that!
That would really get him mad. But yes.
But you can do it.
Exactly.
You can do it. I feel like we have to put some serious respect on your name, not just as a DJ, not just as a producer, not just as an all-round great human being, but now as a mentor.
Ooh, okay.
Because Experts Only, the record label, you are doing something that Patrick Topping is doing over here in the UK with Trick. There's a few small groups of artists that are really, really investing in the next generation of artists, and you're doing that with the label.
I mean, Patrick's been a big inspiration for sure, and I think it's really cool to curate a community like that and kind of inspire the next generation, because that's how I was inspired too and put on by other artists. I didn't sign in a big, major record labels or anything. It was always artist-led labels. So I feel like it's almost my duty to do so, but it's truly what I love to do as well. Because it makes me feel less selfish just focusing on me, only John Summit, or this experts only thing, I think is really special.
It's really special, and you're building a camp. You're building a crew of people that are just all going to take over the world.
I guess you could say that.
It's the new Avengers.
Oh yeah, that's what I like to hear.
I should call you Tony.
Yes,
Tony Stark. That's
I like that.
But I mean, Max Styler, Leighton Giordani, these guys are making the best.
Yep, and we're working on a record for the three of us right now too. So
You're joking?
Yeah, so I guess that is the Avengers like mentality, right?
Ooh, that's the theme tune.
Yeah, like why compete when you can, build together? That's my mentality.
I love that. I really do love that. Why was it important for you, though, to do what it is that you're doing with the label? Because, I hear you came through that way, but still there's a lot of people that did the same thing as you and they haven't got the label and they're not investing in the next generation.
I mean, I don't want to be too deep, but it's like a very kind of solo sport being a DJ. It's a little lonely being on the road and stuff, too. And I think doing it together with like-minded people and having this team aspect lets you celebrate wins and stuff that aren't just your own, and lets you, and then we're all a great resource for each other. Like Max, incredible producer, same with Leighton, and we can send each other songs, ideas, and stuff too, and including like the songwriters and stuff I work with. We always send each other different ideas. It keeps, I don't know, keeps me getting better at my own art as well, working with the best.
And then you get to put on shows like the Jungle Rave in Tulum.
Oh yeah. That's the cherry on top.
How was that?
Oh, that was a lot of fun, and the after party even more fun.
After the show, it's the after party. We don't talk anymore about that because it's radio. But what are your plans for the label going forward, other than the kind of the Avengers record, the three of you together?
Signing more artists. I mean, we got tons of records coming, and we only did in more frequency as well too, because last year was kind of just one a month, and then my album got in the way a little bit, where this time we're very much more consistent and trying to sign more artists from across the world too, because we want to take the record label, and do these events everywhere.
That's amazing. That's amazing. But back to your own releases. I mean, you have teased that there is going to be that collaboration coming. But what else can we expect? I have seen some things on the socials of you in the studio in the UK.
Yes, I've been working with all my faves, from Julia Church to Camden Cox, I was with Subfocus last night, and you put us in the studio within an hour. We got some magic. So. But the trick with that, though, is that because our last record was house and a drum and bass, and now we're trying to figure out a way to do it in between, and we want to do something that hasn't been done before. But so I'm working with a lot of familiar people and a lot of people who are totally new. So I can't give anything away yet, but there's a lot to come.
Don't. You know, Nick makes really good house.
Does he?
Subfocus.
He hasn't showed me it yet.
Go back.
Can I quote you right now?
Please do. I said it to him while he was here. There's an artist over here called Example.
Yes, of course.
One of his biggest records was produced by Subfocus.
No way.
Produced by Nick, and it's a big house record from back in the day.
Okay, I'm going to force him to send me some parts then.
You got to do it. But does that mean that album number 2 is in the works? Or is
That's the goal. And I have the whole idea and vision behind it and stuff, but
Don't tell us yet.
Yes, exactly. But it's all in the works right now. It's very early script days. That's how I look at it.
I'm excited. Very excited. Well, thank you for coming in again. The door is always open.
Yes.
Whenever you're in the UK,
yes,
the door is open. Come through.
I love it here, man. I truly do. It feels like a second home at this point.
Aww. We should have your own corner.
Yeah, please.
The Summit.
I like that.
Studio crew, please, can we get some noise for John Summit?